Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to look back at the 2025. We did the Gantt chart before. Now we're going to continue with the PID, and we're going to do this as quickly as we can. All right, without further ado, let us just look at the PID first, the Project Libra file first. I'm going to expand it. All right. Remember we did this is what we did for the Project Libra. But if we look at it, we have phases, but we did not show where the phases had ended. So we need to do that. And what we're going to do, we're going to just put some milestone on these. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this is the development phase milestone. And remember, to get the milestone, we have to give it a duration of 0. Oh, no, we don't have the duration there, so we're going to highlight the duration. Insert column, and we go here and we find the duration by just typing D to speed it up. And we find a duration and we click OK. All right, the duration might appear in front, it might appear behind, it doesn't matter where it is, but it's there. So what we're going to do for the milestone is we're going to give it a 0 day. So we give it a 0 day, and we know that the last uh, task is here, so we just add it to it. All right, and that would be our milestone. And also for our testing and training phase, we'll also give it a milestone. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy milestone and phase from here. And then I'm going to put so just copy and paste them. All right, and we are going to use this as a 0 day also. And this would be the last one for it. Let me just zoom in a bit. We're going to go to task, zoom in. And then we're going to attach it to this one here. We can just zoom out. And we have our date for a milestone there. All right. And so that's what we need to do so far for this one. for the Gantt chart, but keep it open because we're going to need it for the PID. All right. Let us look at the PID. Let me put my Gantt chart to the side. All right. So this is our PID, and we are looking at the 2025, remember? It's a 2025 exam paper that we're looking at for the planning and management of computing projects. So we have to be mindful. All right. So now we're going to look at our set task brief. I've already did my half an hour on it, so I might be moving faster than usual because I've read it, right? So I will be probably moving faster than usual. All right, let us talk what they want. Fusion Bank is reviewing a system and would like to improve the security of its online banking service. You're a project manager for Innovative Tech Inc. and you will manage the project to upgrade the infrastructure. All right, so that's what you're going to do. And all the other stuff are below it. So you have to read through all of this. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a title. All right, I'm going to give this project a title. And the title I am going to give to it is, my title is going to be Fusion Bank Infrastructure and Software Upgrade. We did establish that before. All right, so that's what we're going to give, that's a title I'm going to give to it. All right, that's what I'm going to give to it. My sponsor's name. All right, I'm seeing people still getting confused with the sponsor and the client. So I've made some notes. I'm going to put this on the Teams so that you guys can go over it. Who is the project sponsor? And the project sponsor is the senior person who authorized the project, provides funding and set the requirement. The purpose of the sponsor is to authorize the project, define high-level requirements, provide funding, resources, and all of that. So the sponsor will always be a person. And that's one of the things I am having issues with, where people are still putting the business as the sponsor. The sponsor will be the person. The person can fund the project. The person is responsible for defining the requirements of the project. That's the sponsor. In this case, the sponsor would be, and I would go down. I'm seeing Miss Jackson, who is the managing director. So I usually use both that and the project organization structure to get to say who is the sponsor. And Emily Jackson would be your sponsor. So all I have to do is just copy and paste it. In this case, I'll just copy and paste it. And that's all I need to do with for the sponsor. All right, client name. The client, listen to what the client is, what the client would be or who the client would be. Client is the organization requesting the project and receiving the final product. That would be the client. And in this case, the client would be Fusion Bank. All right. Manager's name, project manager's name would be me. All right. The start date of the project. I've read it before, as I told you, so I know where to find my start date, which would be at the bottom here. So the start date of the project would be the 13th of January. And we did establish that before when we were doing the Gantt chart. So I just copy it and I would just paste it. All right, completion date. That's going to be so much easier for me because I've already done the Gantt chart. So all I'm going to do is just open my Gantt chart, look at my finish date, and this will be my finish date or my completion date. Right? I'll remove that 1700 because it's not a surety. What's my cost? I've already established my cost. So all I'm going to do now is going to view, right? And I'm going to open the report, go to task information, and then I'm going to go to cost. And this is my cost. My estimated cost based on what I've done on my my Gantt chart. So it's going to be 292, use the comma, 974 pounds. Even though it says has a dollar sign there, it's just something that Project Libra does. All right, so that would be the cost of my project. So I've completed that already. All right, this will be version 1 because it's a new project for my company. And the name of my company again would be, if I go to the top, the name of my company is Innovative Tech. I am working for Fusion. This company is working for Fusion Bank. So this is a worker, that's the client. All right. So client and my company is a company that's assigned to it. All right. So it's going to be version 1 because it's a new project for us. Modification would be none because we haven't done any modification to the project yet. The author would be me. And the date, I usually do a month before. So I would say 05/02/23. Can be 2 weeks before if you want. All right. And approval would be the same. The sponsor would have to be doing your approval. So Emily Jackson, who is the managing director, she's the managing director. No signature. Same date as here. I usually do that. And the version would be 1 again. Distribution now. That's when you go down to your go back to your set task brief and you look at these guys for your distribution. All right. It's going to be distributed to everybody. Everybody needs to see what's on the PID. So it gives them a guide. Yes? You're going to use the PID as a guide for everybody so they know what the project is required, what their task is, what the whole objectives and aim of the projects are, so they have an understanding of what the project is all about so we can get good quality. And that's how you look at what when you're doing the distribution for the project. So the first person I'll put on it would be Emily. Let's just do this. On the date of issue, hold on, let's get rid of this. Let's put a 1 there. Date of issue, I'm going to use the same date. All right. I have to get a copy myself. So and I'm the project manager. Sorry, I put 23, it should be 25. Please don't make a mistake in the exams. And it's version 1. All right. Then the other people to be distributed to. I need to distribute to Serene, Pollard. He is the senior software engineer. Copy that here. All right, she's senior software engineer. I also need Peter Snowden. He's a senior network engineer. All right. And we also need to distribute. This is where I go here. So need to distribute to our network engineer team. Network engineer team role is to work on the project or do tasks that's related to the project. Or what you could do is this for the task, for the network engineers, you could go to your set task brief and you go over to what the junior network engineers do. And this would be their role. This would be their role here. So we just copy it and paste it in here. All right. Remember, all versions would be 1. We'll put the date in later, and then we say software engineer team. Then this would be the role. And then we have a cybersecurity who is, let's go back up to see something. Let's look at it. Hold on. Oh, we didn't have to put junior. We didn't have to put a software engineer team. We could just put the name, which would be Annabelle. Which is Annabelle. And Annabelle is a junior software engineer. So we just copy that. Let's get rid of this. So Annabelle is the junior software engineer team. We have to pay strict attention to these because sometimes they do mix the software with the cybersecurity and all of that. So we need to pay attention to stuff like that. So Annabelle is that person. And then we could say Kieran Jones. That's Kieran Jones. And Kieran Jones would be the cybersecurity engineer. All right. All right. For the network engineer team, what we could do is simplify it. Let's get rid of that. So what we could do for this, we could put the names, Ashley, Ashley Davidson, and the comma. Then we put Nisha Mystery. Nisha Mystery. And we just put junior network engineer. Makes it easier. Okay. Now we just need to put the dates in. This has to be one also. All right, so we just need to just put these, and it's distributed to everybody. So we could do it that way, all right, and get the same result. All right, purpose of the project initiation document. And under that, you have project aim, project management. All right, what's the aim of the project? So we're going to look back at the top of the project where we have all of this. So the aim of the project is to the aim of a project is to upgrade Fusion Bank's infrastructure software to deliver a more secure, reliable, and intelligent online banking system, right? That's what they're trying to do. And it's all there. So all you have to do is just all you have to do when you're doing this is you just read the set task brief and just copy it. So improve security of online bank service. That's what they want. And then you're going to say they want to, hold on, let's get back to it. Aim of the project. So let's just do a quick one. So I can give you a good understanding. All right, so the aim of a project, Fusion, to upgrade Fusion Bank's infrastructure and software to deliver more secure, reliable, and intelligent online banking system. Because I've read this, what are we doing? Right? Integrate fraud detection system, makes it intelligent, provide real-time monitoring, and that would be it. This includes implementing and enhancing authentication, which is what we're doing here, secure transaction, which is secure digital transaction, integrate advanced fraud detection system. All right. All of this here would be the aim of the project. So you could just copy and paste it over. Right. I've written mine because I've gone through and tried to make it look more English. But all of this here would be the aim of the project. That would be your aim. So you can write it as I did, make it more authentic, but you can also just copy and paste it over quicker for you. All right. So you could just do this. Hold on. Let's do a control C on this. You could do that. And it does work. It's the same thing. All right. So you could write it if you have time, or you could just copy and paste it over. All right. Writing gives gives it a more informed knowledge. You're letting the examiners know that you know what you're doing, basically. All right. Project management and control. I usually advise to study a generic one. What I have always been doing is studying a generic one, then I write it. When I go to the exam, if I'm going into the exam, right, I can just adjust it, but it works just the same. So what I'll do a quick one. All right. So as a project manager, the team and I will be responsible for all the project's aims, objectives being achieved within the determined constraints of the project. So I'm going to talk about what are the aims of the project. The aim of the project is what we have just written, but I'm responsible for that. So you could say as the aims that were discussed above. All right. Therefore, I'll be monitoring the project duration. So I'm going to say the time. You can say how long the project is going to last, like 2 weeks, a month, right? You're going to talk about the allocated budget of whatever the allocated budget is. And in this case, the allocated budget is going to be at the bottom, which is £265,000, right? So you could write this in. So what I would do is project objectives. And what are the project objectives? To So you could put like what the project objectives are by going back up here. And the objective of a project is to improve the security, which is to improve the security of Fusion Bank's online banking services. All right, so that's the objective, right? And also these. Enhance for all users. The objective is to enhance for all of them. So you could just copy and paste it in here, right? Within the determined constraints of the project. So you can talk about the constraints, but this is a generic one. You can just use it as well and just adjust it as how you would want to adjust it. You're going to say the team will meet regularly, progress, plan strategies to overcome problems and issues. As a project manager, I will uh organize the work of a team through an allocation of function points to achieve maximum efficiency, right? And we use the Gantt chart also to ensure that work is done efficiently. All right. On this PID, the background to proposed work is already prepared for you. They will tell you in the exam. All right. Purpose of the project now. What's the purpose of the project? To provide enhanced authentication for all users. All of these are the purpose of the project. And also improve security for the banking system. So that's also the purpose of a project. So you have to go over now and see purpose of a project, meaning why are we creating the system? And the system will provide enhanced authentication for all users, fraud detection, provide real-time monitoring of transaction. That's the purpose of a project. And so you can copy, as I said, you can copy and paste it over, but you have to give them an understanding, right? That you have knowledge of what you're doing. All right. So mine, I would just let me do a quick write. I would just, the purpose of a project is to enhance Fusion's Bank online banking security by upgrading the network infrastructure, server system, authentication. So I'm saying I'm going to do this by doing, right? So the purpose of a project, this is the purpose of a project, is to do this, right? By the purpose is for this to happen by doing all of this, right? And it will ensure safer transaction and reduce fraud risk and improve customer confidence in the bank. So I'm putting this little extra thing at the end to just to let the examiners know I know what I'm doing. All right. So the purpose of the project is for the request of the system, what the system will do by doing what the development will require. All right. So think purpose is to do all of this, right? By using these here, which are the required, what the development requires. All right. And you have to you can just go in and with that in mind and just think about how concise you can make it and to the point. You don't have to go overboard with all your explanation. Okay, responsibilities. This should be the easiest one on here. What I usually encourage is this. First of all, responsibilities. You're going to say sponsor, right? What's the responsibility of the sponsor? And who is the sponsor? The sponsor is Miss Emily Jackson, who is the managing director. So I'm just going to put these in brackets. All right. And under it, I'm going to say what she's responsible for. And remember, I already said what the sponsor is. Who is the sponsor? All right. So the sponsor, purpose of the sponsor, right? I'm just going to copy and paste it down here. Have, when you're going into the exam, have a generic one, right, that you can think about, because most sponsors, they do the same thing. The only thing you have to do is adapt it to whatever project that you are doing. So the purpose of the sponsor is to authorize the project, define the high-level requirements, provide funding and resources, support project manager, approve major decisions, and ensure that the project delivers the expected business benefits for Fusion Bank. That's what Miss Emily Jackson is there for. Now it comes to you, which would be the project manager. So project manager, right? And this would be me. Right? And what's my purpose? My purpose is to do management and control of a project, but I need to put it in more detail. And the purpose of the manager is to plan and coordinate the project, right? I've done this earlier when I was going over it for this video, but you can go into the exam with a generic understanding, with a generic knowledge of what the you are supposed to be doing as a project manager, and then you adapt it. So the purpose of a project manager is to plan, coordinate, and control all aspects of a project to ensure that the new security system for Fusion Bank is delivered on time, right? So it's adapting it to whatever. So you need to go in with a generic and ensure that you can adapt it to whatever the set task brief is asking you for. All right. This includes managing the project team, monitoring progress, handling risk, communicating with stakeholder. And all of these guys, all you have to do is just to scroll down, right? Look at risk management, stakeholder, communication plan. That tells you what you're supposed to do on a project. It's just a reminder, right, of what you're supposed to do on a project. So if you use that method, it will help you. All right. So now let us look at Serene Pollard, who is the software engineer. Now, this is where your Gantt chart come into play. All right. You can do one of two things. You can use the Gantt chart. Uh, you can use the Gantt chart, or I usually recommend you just go down, scroll down to here, because whatever they're doing here, they're doing it on the project also. So what I do, I'd say the senior network engineer, I copy this one. That's a senior software engineer, right? What is my senior software engineer doing? So I'm going to look back at my Gantt chart. All right, that's why we put the in. So senior software engineer works on testing, all right? Senior software engineer develop AI-based detection-based system. What else is this guy doing? Basically, that's it. This person is, that's it. So we can just do that. So senior software engineer, which would be Serene Pollard. And guys, remember, you can just copy it and paste it from the set task brief also. So this person is only doing development of AI-based frost. So I just copy this. Right? And also, I'm looking at here, guys, the SSE right there. And also configuring protocols. All right. So that's my senior software engineer. Then the next one would be my network engineer. All right, let me just copy them over, all of them first. So I'm going to do seniors first. Let me just copy these over. Senior network engineer. And then I'm going to do juniors. Then I'm going to do cyber. Then I'm going to do junior network. Okay. No. So senior network engineer, all right? Installation of infrastructure, creating test plans, stress testing. As I said, I'm going to use my Gantt chart. So you can use your Gantt chart or simple. We just copy them over. So we're going to look at the senior network engineer. We just do this. Right? And we're going to do that for the junior also. Then the cyber, we're going to do these for the cyber. Because it's responsibilities. All right? Are we missing anybody? All right, and we just copy them over. That's their responsibility, but ensure you put their names on it. So we're going to look at junior software engineer. Let's just bold these. All right, so we're going to put the names on. So that would be senior network engineer would be Peter Snowden. Snowden, sorry. Peter Snowden. All right, then we have the junior software engineer Anbel. On the, we have the cybersecurity engineer, which is Kiran. In the junior network engineers. Do we have the juniors? No, we don't. So the junior network engineers are not there. Let's just put your names in from now. So that would be Ashley. Denisha. I'm copying. So we do Nisha. Mystery. Right, and we go back down to juniors. Network engineers. We just copy and paste all of this. If you look at the Gantt chart, most likely they're doing all of this anyway. All right. So when you're in the exam, just copy and paste it over. All right, materials. So we have to do the materials, which is going to be all of this here. So let me just do it bit by bit. So we're going to have to take all the materials over. All right. And you have to remember what we did in the with the Gantt. Oh, let's create a table for this. Let's insert a table. I'm going to start with a table of just two first. I'm going to copy this here. Into the first one. And then we're going to copy the price in. Hit enter to get another table. Put the infrastructure here, control. And we're going to put per year. Then we're going to do software license. It's going to be we're going to do, all right. I use the physical server, so I'm going to do two of these. Use it only the physical server. I did not use the cloud. could use option 1. All right, I'm going to clean this up in a minute. And then we have to do the backup, which would be 2 required. Okay, so now let's clean this up a bit. Main server required, these are physical servers. Option 1, we don't need that. We just need to put the total. So this would be 36,000 here because it's 2 times 18. All right. 2 required for this one per month per year. So we're going to multiply this by 2, then by 12, which is going to give us approximately, hold on, how much is that? 56 times 12. So that, let me get my calculator to be sure. So it would be 2 times 2,800, 2 times 2,800 times 12. It's going to be 67,000 pounds. So let's just remove these. So let's remove these. You need to put information above. So you're going to insert above, insert a row above. And this row above is going to be item. And this is going to be cost. And now we can just do this. All right, so we have that. And we should have already calculated it before, but I'm just going over. All right, so now we have all of this. So we have to put the total of everything. So that would be 67. I'm going from bottom, 67 plus 36,000 plus 12,000 plus 52 plus, sorry, it's minus 52. It should be 52,000. Plus 52,000 plus 1,000. 220,040. So that's 220 pounds. So we hitting the 220,000 pounds already. So that's our total cost. We have to put it. All right. Now the objectives. When they say objectives, they're talking about the SMART objective. It's just a topic. It's just the topic. So do not do anything about it. All right. So smart objectives, easy peasy. All right. All you have to do is go over to where the tasks are. All right. And you just put these in where you have installation of network infrastructure, where you have the function point analysis. So you just copy them in. Just put, let me just put two more. I'm just going to put two more in. Or when you're in the exam, remember, look at the table, how small it is, right? If you have time, you can put all in. But if you don't, what can you do? You have to be efficient. All right. I'm just going to put these in for now. All right. These are smart objectives. I'm going to put them there. All right. In the exam, if you have time, you can put everything in. But for now, we're just going to put according to the amount of tables they have. And then I'm going to go back to my Gantt chart, right? So first of all, I'm going to look at installing network infrastructure, which will be at the top here. I'm going to select it and look at what I'm going to do. Select task, go over to assign resources, and look all of those who are assigned to it. Ashley. So all you have to do is just put Ashley's name here. All right, we're going to put work done by Ashley. And then I'm going to put start because I'm going to say it's achieved. All right, so I'm going to put yes. If it's not achieved, you don't have to put finish, but I'm going to put finish here. Right, and I'm going to just copy and paste all of this under all of them to make it easier. All right, so look at what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just put Ashley Davidson worked on by Ashley Davidson. All right, and one of the things you can do here is it's highlighted. So it's 13/1/25, it's a start date. And my finish date would be 22/1/25. Right? Then integration. Hold on. Ashley Davidson. Sorry. There are three people who worked on it. Ashley Davidson, Nisha Mystery. And that's it for the junior network. So I could put work on by junior network engineers. Right? And that's all. And then I'm going to go to the others, which would be integrating encryption. And I'm going to do the same assign report. And that's Kieran, which is a cyber security engineer. Kieran Jones worked on by CE. Put the names in it. All right, worked on by CE Kieran Jones. And the start date of this would be 13/1, the same as this one. I'm just going to copy it. And finished on. So that I can copy and paste from here. Copy that. I'm going to finish it that. Take out the number, the time. All right, so that's that one done. Then the other one would be configuring security protocols. And then we have a start date. And the finish date. And worked on by, I don't even have to go there because it's right here. So all I have to do is just copy all of these. And look at that, all there. Okay, so now deploying and configuring cloud servers. So we have a start date, which is here. Then we have finish date, which is there. We get these timeouts. And then we just go over to where our resource names are. And we just copy and paste. All right, that makes it easier. The next one is installing physical. What's that? Installing and configuring physical server, which is this one here. Start date, copy. End date, copy again. So we finish here. Then worked on by, and we go over to a resource column. And look at that. We're just going to copy this, but we have to be very mindful. I'm going to show you why. Worked on by, see what happened. The main server popped up. We're not, main server, not supposed to be there. So you have to be very mindful of when you're doing that. The next one is going to be development of custom app. So if you have time, you can put all of them in the exam and just copy and paste it from the Gantt chart. So Start date, finish date, and then resources, copy again. Then the integration of background. Start date, finish date. Okay, so we have all of those. So it's a bunch of copy and pasting. All you have to do is just find out who's doing what, when it's finished. All right, so mine is saying finish date. So what I'm going to put is this. Achieve, yes, all of them. If I didn't put a finish date, I would put no. All right, start and that's it. So I'm just going to put yes for all of them. So all I have to do now is just highlight all of these and just put yes. And the same down here. I'm just going to highlight them. And then I'm just going to put yes. All right, easy, done. Now, let's look at the scope. The scope of the project. What is the scope of a project? The scope of the project is what we have been doing. All right, so the scope of a project is this should be a summary, a very small summary. All right, the scope of the project includes upgrading Fusion Bank. So it's what the whole, as it says, scope. Scope is broad. It's very broad. It's an overall. So the scope of a project includes upgrading Fusion Bank's network infrastructure, servers, backup system, encryption technology, authentication method, and fraud detection capability. It also includes developing customized banking app, implementing real-time monitoring. So that's what the scope is all about. So it's all there. So all we have to do is just look at the top of our set task brief, right? And when you look at the top of it, it tells you what the scope is, right? Providing, this is what it's doing, all right? Reducing fraud, all right? That's what it's doing. This here, that's what the scope is of the project, right? And all you have to do is figure a way out how to write it. You can copy it over to make it easier, but you understanding, right? The scope of a project includes Fusion Bank network infrastructure, server, and backup system, right? This is what it's doing. Upgrading Fusion, but all of these, that's what the scope is, the capabilities. It includes developing customized banking app, implementing real-time monitoring, conducting full-time testing, resolving identified faults, and training staff. I just made it concise. All right. But what it will not include is work outside the online banking system, long-term maintenance, and unrelated business changes that are out of the scope. It will not include that. So the scope is what's included and what's not included. So all of this is the scope right here. All scope. Right? And then you have to say what it doesn't include with the scope. Right? So this is the scope. What are we doing to the bank? That's the scope. All right? You have to figure when, as I said, going with to the exam with a structure that you'll need to use to aid you when you're there in the exam. All right, business case. On the business case, what do we need for a business case? One of the things that we need when we're doing a business case, we have to know what it involves, what the business case would involve, and purpose of the project. So the business case would involve the purpose of the project. That's the first thing that we have to understand for the business case. So the purpose of the project. Right? And what's the purpose of a project? This is where we look back at our set task brief again, right? And it's what Fusion Bank has identified, first of all, right? And then what they have identified, what's happening to the bank. That's the first thing you have to do. What is happening to the bank? Right? So they've identified that there's an increasing risk associated with online banking fraud, data breach, and outdated infrastructure. Right? To remain competitive and protect customers' assets, the bank requires a major upgrade and a digital security system, infrastructure, and online banking platform. All right? And then you're going to say, this business case outlines the justification for undertaking the project and the expected benefits to the organization. So let's look at it now, right? So now you're going to identify what is happening to Fusion Bank. What's happening to Fusion Bank? So you just look at it and you're going to say, okay, if they want all of this here, then you can write it based on what they want. They've identified that there's an issue somewhere. So they have to improve their system. And you talk about the issues that they might have identified. All right. And then you're going to give the reason why they need to upgrade their system. So you're going to give the reason why they need to upgrade their system. And the reason for this is that the current system are no longer sufficient to meet modern security threats, right? That's the issue. And then you're going to say increase customer expectation for security, all of that. This is just my thing. You can come up with yours, right? And all of this that I've gotten here, it's coming from here. It's coming from all of this. All right. All I did was to just look at it and try to reason, why would they need, what's a reason behind this system? What's a reason that they're going to improve security for customer data and transaction, right? So the reason for upgrading it means that they didn't have these stuff before. So they need to improve on it. All right. So the next thing of a business case would be the business benefits. All right. What are, oh, I forgot. Options. Remember, with the purpose, you have options. So what are the options that I need to consider, right? If I don't, what are the options that I need to consider? Option one is they could do nothing. All right, let me type it in. So the options I need to consider, first of all, option one, do nothing. Nothing, if you do nothing, there's no cost, but leaves the bank vulnerable, high risk of fraud, reputational damage, customer loss. This is not acceptable. All right. So that's my options that I need to consider. Uh, but option two is I could do a full upgrade, which is my chosen option. I could do a full upgrade of the system. Let me just type it in quickly. I could do a full upgrade of the system, which is my chosen option, address all identified issues, provide long-term security and operational benefits, support future digital expansion, and this would be my recommended option, right? So this would come, the option, the reason and the options would come under, right, the purpose of the project. So you have to go into the exam with a structure in mind of how to write the business case. All right. The other one is business benefit. All right. And guys, expected business benefit or the business benefit is it's all there. So the business benefit is all there. Let's look at it from the so the next one would be business benefit. Okay. Business benefit. Look at this. Improve security, improve speed, right? That's the business benefit. And all you have to do is just copy it over. Control B. Okay. So business benefit is there, right? Look at this also. This is also business benefit. It will provide all of this. So this is also business benefit. All right. So that's business benefit also. So you just copy and paste those over and you're all right. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is the budget, right? And we're going to look at the budget. What is the budget of for the system for this project? All right, we have to scroll down to the bottom of this thing. And that's where you look at the Gantt chart. So right? So look at this. So we're going to look at the cost. So the budget. So that's the budget. The project requires investment in network infrastructure upgrade, which is 100,000, which is from the that would be from your material, the cost of the material. 100,000 new servers, physical or cloud, but we're not going to use physical. We're going to use cloud. We're not going to use cloud for the new servers. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go back up here, right, where we have our material, right? And all we have to do from here is just copy it. And then we go down here and we put the cost down here. Hold on, let's just do this. So cost of the infrastructure is 100,000, 52. The main server. So we're going to copy this. We just copy it here. Backup system is 67,000. The main server, new server start 52. Maintenance is 36. Sixty-seven 36. Labor and cost, now we have to calculate that, because if the total is, what's our total up here? Our total is this. All right, so we have to calculate that. So let's just get rid of that. So the total, so we're going to subtract it from here. All right, cost of material is this here. Right, so that's a total cost of the material. And then that's an allocated budget. So when we're going to say labor costs, contingency funds, is equal to whatever we get when we subtract the materials from the budget. So that would be 265 minus 220, 400. So we're going to have labor costs of 44,600 pounds. All right, so that's what we're going to have left for our labor cost. All right. Because when we subtract the material cost from the total budget, that's what we'll have left for contingency fund and labor costs. All right. And then we're going to look at budgets. We're going to look at timeline. How long will this project take us? All right. And that's where a Gantt chart comes into play again. So that's when a Gantt chart comes into play. And we're going to look at the duration, 38 days. So I got the 38 days from here, which is the duration of the project timeline. So the timeline, you can talk about timeline. What can we talk about? We're going to talk about the amount of days for the project, the time the project will take. So you're going to say project has a timeline of 38 days. So we're going to say project has a timeline of 38 days. It's 38 days. Of which, and we're still looking at the Gantt chart, of which, look at this. The development phase will take 34 days. Will take 34 days. And the testing and training phase will take 31 days, even though it says 30.5, right? Because it's a 0.5, I just consider it 1 day. 31 days. All right, and you just leave it at that. Done. Now, major risk. That's the other one. What are the major risks of this project? All right, so we're going to look at the major risk of the project. And you just have to look at your risk. What are the major risks? Delay in installation or configuration of new system, integration challenges, right? With the existing banking system, because what we're doing, we're upgrading. So there's going to be an integration challenge because old system will be working with a new system, right? Vulnerability, security vulnerability while you're transferring over the system. Staffs might require additional training, but what you have to do is just sum it up with a final thing by saying that with careful planning, testing, and contingency time and funds in the schedule, it is manageable. That's what you have to do. So the major risk. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a quick type on this. Let's just do it quickly and then go through it. So major risk, delay in installation and configuration of system, integration challenge with existing bank system, potential cost increase for hardware cloud servers, right? Cybersecurity vulnerability. All right, these risks will be managed through careful planning, testing, and contingency time and schedule. And guess what? We've just finished our business case. All right. Now, the next thing that we need to do is our assumptions. This can be very easy, right? Let's look at our set task brief. What I usually do, anywhere I see the word assume, I go for it. All right. If you look down here, at the bottom here, it says it is assumed that at least uh, 2 major faults will be found and at least 2 minor faults will be found, right? So this is all one assumption here. So I'm just going to copy it over and I'm going to just paste it in because that, all right, during testing too, copy and paste. And test at least that. All right, validated by I am the guy to do it. Right? The status give me a moment. Okay, the status according to BTEC, right? They want you to put open or confirm or open. All right? So it's confirmed. Even though in the book we have mixed, it would be mixed. You have mixed for that section. You'd have mixed in the book. Some says confirm, the other would say the status of the person, but it wants open or confirmed. All right. So if we're assuming that it will happen, our assumption is going to be before the project starts. We're going to assume that something is going to happen. So what are we going to do with that assumption? We're going to confirm what we have done, right? So that whenever this problem comes up, we have that ready for, we have the solution ready and waiting. So a lot of people think it's a contingency plan. It's not a contingency plan. It's what you will be doing, right, along the project so that whenever a fall comes up, the project has is there ready and waiting. So we're going to confirm it. And how we have confirmed it? By using regression testing. So we're going to do schedule regression testing along the project. So regression so regression testing would be schedule along the project. So what we have done was, if we go over, it says 3 days of regression testing was allocated or was scheduled. All right. 3 days of regression testing was allocated in the schedule for each fault. So we did that. And it's on our Gantt chart too, where we did regression testing. Did we not do regression testing? So we have to look back at this Gantt chart because we need to do some regression testing. So we'll do that in a moment. All right. So regression testing was scheduled. 3 days of regression testing was allocated in the schedule for each fault. And it's confirmed. All right. What else can we look at for assumption? We're going to assume that the project will start on the 3rd of March. Project will, notice I'm using the word will. That's the assumption. Project will be completed by the 3rd of March. So the project will be completed, or let's look at it this way. Let's look at the first one, because it's going to be started at the project will start on the 13th, right? And the only person who can come up with that requirement would be Emily Jackson. Emily Jackson is the person who is responsible for it. And she's a managing director. However, this was confirmed because it's already agreed on, so it's confirmed. So Emily Jackson is the only person who can come up with the start and the end date and the end date of the project or the completion date of a project. She's the only person who can do that. Start and budgeting, anything to do with that, right? And we put here start date was agreed on with client. That's what happened. We agreed on the start date with the client. right? And that's the assumption that it will be done by that time. She assumed it and she agreed on her assumption. All right? The other one that we'll be looking at is staff will work staff will work 5 days a week for 8 hours a day. For 8 hours per day. Right? Who would be coming up with this? I need the schedule. I came up with the, hold on, let's double check it. With the use functional point analysis. Okay, so that would be me. I would come up with that. Right? I am going to confirm it. And where did I get this? Forgot to explain where I got this from. I got this from here, down here. It is estimated. Estimation is an assumption. You're estimating it. So I would be doing that. It is estimated that the staff will work that time because I am responsible for the timing of the job, right? And how would I confirm this? I've confirmed it. All I have to say here is that staff has been allocated to task by me doing the functional points, by me doing the function points for each task. Staff has been allocated, right, to task. That's confirmation. All right. The other one I need to look at is senior network engineer needs 6 hours per functional point. All right. And that would be on your, it would be up here. Look at that. Senior network engineer needs 6 hours per general functional point and 8 hours per complex functional point. Right? So I would be the one calculating the functional points, right? I would be confirming it. I don't know why I keep putting project manager on that. Right? And I would say analysis has been completed and function points allocated. That's how I know. That's the assumption because the analysis has been completed, right? So I assume it, and then I went and I completed an analysis of the function points. All right. As I said, everything can be every assumption I have taken is from here. The other one is this one. Uh, 2 main servers are required. Why would I need 2 main servers? Why would I need main servers? Because The material is up to me, so I am the guy who is responsible for these server. I am purchasing. I am the project manager, right? Let me just put these in here. PM. Managing director. All right. So two main servers are required, right? And it's right here. Main servers, two required. Confirmed. So this is confirmed because the two main servers are required, right? And I've assumed that the two main servers are required because what? Why do I need the server? And the Gantt chart will tell you. Because the existing infrastructure is going to need those two servers, right? Servers are needed for existing infrastructure because you need the two main server. Without those two main server, you cannot develop the infrastructure that you want, right? So that's confirmation. Servers are needed for the existing infrastructure. All right. Uh, what else can we use here? What else can we use? Let's look through the sorry, need to show you the screen. What do we need here that we can use? We're going to assume reduce online banking fraud. We can use that one. We're going to assume that system will reduce. The new system will, if you notice the words I'm using, will, must reduce the new system will reduce online banking fraud. And that would be Miss Jackson, Managing Director. Right? Open. I'm going to leave this one to open. You know why? Because we don't know yet. Right? So what is being done for this happen to right? So we're going to look at this here, will required. installation of new installation of new encryption technology will be done on is scheduled to be done on your system. All right. And that's it for now. We have almost everything there. And there are other stuff that you can get assumption from and confirmation of these assumptions. All right. Constraints. Remember, when you're thinking constraints, I always say use the iron triangle. Cost, scope, time, and the outcome would be quality. Always think about those when we're doing constraints. All right. One of the first thing I look at, let me look at constraints on the, what could be the constraints? Project budget must not exceed 265,000. All right. Validated by Emily Jackson. And the status again would be open. Would be confirmed. And look at what constraint is. If the budget exceeds 265,000, right, it's going to affect something else. You could put time or scope. So it's going to affect either the time or the scope. So you have to think about that. The constraints will be affecting either time or scope. In my case, I put it may cause the deadline to be pushed back. Right? That's my constraint. All right. So if I exceed the budget, it's going to push back the deadline. All right. The other one. Uh, other one we could look at is security protocol. All right, let's not look at that. Let's just look at the simple ones for now. For example, the project must be completed by the 3rd of March. Then we can look at the security protocol. All right, so let us look at that one. So we're going to look at this security protocol. All right, so the project, let's go back down here and we can go down to the bottom again. All right. All right. The project must be completed by the 3rd of March, right? Must be completed by the 3rd of March. Emily Jackson. And it's confirmed because we already spoke to Emily, right? And what will happen if it's not completed by the end of March? It might delay the handover, right? So that's what the constraint is doing. It's affecting the handover. When you have a constraint, it's going to affect something else. All right? The other one we can look at is everybody's favorite. Delivery delay. All right, let us look back at our Gantt chart. If we delay the delivery, then we cannot, it's going to affect the network infrastructure integration of, hold on, it's going to installation and configuration of protocol of physical server. It's going to create a lot of problems. So what's going to happen is what's going to happen is supplies will be delivered on time for the project. Right? If that doesn't happen, it's going to delay the installation of network infrastructure. It will affect this one here. So if it's not delivered, it's affecting this one, right? And this one would be confirmed. All right? So what is it affecting? That's what we need to look at. If it doesn't happen, what will it affect? Let's look at another one. Let's use a Gantt chart for that. Integration. All right, let's look at this one. If we affect this one, if you look at it, if this is being affected, what is it connected to? This one, which would be creating a test plan for software. All right, so let us copy this and paste it. Right? Who is working on this one? So we're going to look at all those who are working, and that would be Mr. Kieran. And it's going to affect here. So it's going to delay creating a test plan for software. So you see what's happening. It's affecting that one. And you can use these as your constraints. It's attaching. Notice they're attaching to all of these stuff here. You have the predecessors. If it has a predecessor to it, it can affect it. So this one can affect that one. Look at this. Configuring security protocol can affect deployment and configuration of cloud and installation and configuring that. So that's how you think. it can affect it, and you can, and whoever is working on it is responsible for is validate responsible for the validation. And I'm going to say this one is confirmed because it will happen. All right. What about let's see, others that we can use that's from the set task brief? What about let's see. Uh let's look at this. Okay, so all right, let's look at this one. Let's say Kieran Jones is not available for work in the first week. What will happen? So we're looking at this one. Kieran Jones, I'm getting it from this one. Let's say uh, cybersecurity is not, engineer is not available for the first week of deployment, right? Who would be responsible for that? You're responsible for scheduling. So this responsibility falls on the project manager because it's an absentee, right? This is open, right? And that means here there will be a delay in the integration of technology encryption. Integration, sorry. Of encryption technology. And that's a constraint because it's affecting the integration of encryption technology. All right, what else can we look at? Let's go back to our set task brief. We can get some from there also. All right, what if our backup servers don't work? No, we can't say the backup servers would be cloud servers. All right, let's look back at the. Let's say there was a fault. Oh, yeah, we were talking about this. That's the one I wanted to address. Security protocols. So let us say that the security protocols, they don't work. Okay. Okay, hold on. It would be, what did they say about security protocols again? Security protocols not configured properly. So there will be a security breach upon completion of a project. It is a critical task and will affect the installation and configuration of server. So security protocol was not installed, right? So there would be security breach upon completion of the project, right? It is also a critical task and will affect the installation and configuration of server. So look at it this way. We're going up here. That's where we get the security protocol from at the top. Have that. So if we have no security protocol, right, then there would be a problem when we have completed the project. And it's also a critical task and it will affect installation of the server, which is here. It is a critical sub, and then installation of server, testing. So, right, and this will be confirmed by configuration of that. Senior software engineer, Serene Pollard. So Serene would be doing this. Right? And this would be confirmed because it is a critical task. All right? And that's how we would do the constraints for now. Risk management. All right? Uh let us look at risk management for a minute. Okay, so with risk management, I went ahead and I just did my own. All right, there are many things in risk management, and we have done that in class. All right, staff off sick, probability 1 in 5. And as I said, it's up to you. Just do not go to critical when you're doing this. All right, the impact would be 3 in 5, which is a medium for the impact, but 3, and then we're going to multiply. 1 times 3 is 3, and 5 times 5 is 25. So that's short of 25, so the severity is low. And our contingency plan is to have staff work collaboratively or do collaboration among staff so that they know how to do each other's work. So when that person is off, one staff can step in. Yeah? Exceeding the budget is a risk. Yes? You give it a probability of 2 out of 5, 4 out of 5 with the impact, and then 8 out of 25, which is medium. So what you're going to do with for your contingency plan in this, keep track of our spending and have a contingency fund available. That's how you do risk. Yes, you're preparing for if it happens. Yeah. Customized apps has bugs. Probability 3 out of 5. We're writing a program. Bugs will happen. Impact 4 out of 5, right? It will have a great impact. And then 4 times 3 is 12, which is 12 out of 25. And what your contingency plan is to allow frequent testing as the project progresses. So it's what you're doing while the project is going on. All right. Staff doing software testing is new to testing, right? And this is where we get this. We have, remember, the staff are doing testing, and we have it on our Gantt chart. There's testing being done. If they're new to testing, yeah, look at what we have here ready for them. We have a test plan. We create a test plan for them so they can follow it. That's our contingency plan, and it's right here. All right, staff off sick. That's another popular one, right? Uh, we already have that up there. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. Let me get rid of this. All right, staff off sick. What other risks are there that might happen? You have so much risk on this. Uh, hardware can be a risk. Let's look at what the hardware are. We have servers, right? So we could say main server do not work. Do not work as expected. Because we do have servers here, right? Remember, I'm using my physical server. Main servers do not work as expected. What's the chance of that happening? I'm just going to give it a 2 out of 5, right? Impact is great. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. All right. So that's 2 fours is 8 out of 5 fives is 25. All right. And what do we have here? We have backup systems. All right. So a contingency plan would be 2 backup systems are there for redundancy. Two backup systems are there for redundancy. And that's our contingency plan. Right? Just in case it doesn't work, and redundancy mean that you can fall back on these just in case. All right. What else is there? Lots of infrastructure upgrade. We have that. What else is there as a risk? Let's go to our Gantt chart. We have to, okay, what about training staff? Training bank staff. Not all bank staff was there for training. So not all bank staff was there for training. Impact 1/5. Probability 1/5. No, let's do a 2/5 here. Impact would be 1/5. And that would be 2/5, meaning it's low. So this is medium here. We need to put our medium. And then 2/5, 25, sorry. That would be low. What's our contingency plan? We could have another staff do training at a later date. So have another trained later date. And that's it. All right. Notice all I did was to just fill this out. All right. In the exam, try not to go overboard. Just fill out the tables that they give you. Deliverables. Deliverables are on your set task brief. It's right at the top. All right. And at this point, everybody should know what the deliverables are. Just copy and paste all the deliverables. So, thing is moving a bit slow. This is our deliverables here. The system to be developed, high-speed network infrastructure, that's our deliverable. This thing is freezing on me. Let me just. Okay. All right. As I said, we can get our deliverables. All we have to do is just go back up here. The new system will require high-speed network infrastructure, automatic backup system, new encryption technology, AI fraud detection system, because that's included in our deliverables. Customized banking app is also a deliverable. And if we go back to our Gantt, a backup system, integrated backup system is also one. So there's so many deliverables there. All right. Physical servers, these are deliverables. Security protocols, that's deliverable. All right. So it depends on which ones you want to write, but don't waste a lot of time on it. If you go to your brief, high-speed network infrastructure is a deliverable, right? Automatic backup system, that's a deliverable. All right. There are different deliverables that you can put here. Let's just use the one that is on here. An automatic backup system. We don't have to overcomplicate it. We have that. Encryption technology, configuration of new servers. So new servers are deliverable. All right. So all of these are deliverable. What's a description? What's a component of this one? High-speed network infrastructure. I'm just going to put hardware because it is actually hardware. And the description is for the system. You can just put what it's going to do, right? So the description would usually be, what do we need a high-speed network infrastructure, right? So that transaction would be done in real time, because I think it's somewhere up there. Provide timely monitoring of transaction, real time. Provide real time monitoring of transaction. The real time is a part. Provide real time monitoring. All right. Automatic backup system. And that would be just in case the system goes down. What would we need a backup system for? Just in case the system goes down. So it's going to be for redundancy. And backing up customer data. Backing up customer data, redundancy, backing up customer data. That's why we need this. And the banking data, not only the customer data, but the banking data. Just put bank data, which comes under customer. Hardware and software for here. All right. New encryption technology, this will be software. This will be for software. All right. To ensure security of transaction. Where am I getting this from? It's up here. Provide enhanced authentication for all users. So I'm just going to copy this over. So what I'm doing, I'm getting it from the set task brief as I go along, as well as from my knowledge of security encryption. So it's not supposed to be here. It's a duplicate. Delete row. All right. Delete row again. Okay. Customize online banking app. This is software. And I could put this one, I could put, hold on, let's get back to that. So this is software. And integrate that. So we can put some more here. Improve customer experience. Control C. So we're going to improve customer experience with the app. And also okay, this one, encryption and technology, improve security for customer data and transaction. Okay, we did that. Fraud detection. And this would be software again. So now we have servers here. Oh, no, for so it's artificial intelligence based fraud detection system is a deliverable. It's a software, and the description is it's right here. It's an advanced fraud detection technology. And it's going to improve and then we have new server. What's the purpose of a new server? All of these. Improve this one. And it also helps with this. So the answers are there. It's just for you to know where to find them and link put the relationship between all of these here, because everything here is related to the deliverables. All right, stakeholders. Who are our stakeholders? Very simple. Our stakeholders would be on the structure. Let's just do the structure base from now. Let's do that quickly. So we're just going to copy it. Snippet tool. Just going to copy this. And we're going to just paste it. All right. And with that, we have who are our stakeholders. Managing director is a stakeholder. It would be Miss Jackson or Emily Jackson, sorry. So Miss Emily Jackson. And what's the responsibility of Miss Emily Jackson? And as I did before, I put a little note up here. Emily. All right. So the responsibility of Emily. Just pasting it there. Purpose of, and the next one would be project manager. And the purpose of Emily is to authorize the project, define a high level requirements. So she defines the requirements, provide funding and resources, support the project manager, approve major decisions, ensure the project delivers the expected business benefits for Fusion Bank. So that's her job. And there's more that you can put. You don't have to write it that way. What I'd ask you to do is to ensure you go over the purpose of the sponsor, purpose of the project manager. All right, you can use generics for those. All right, and again, I have one up here again for project manager. Plan coordinator. Mine is a bit long, but however, you can do a short one that suits you. All right, all I did was to say what the project manager is doing, project manager is doing. And what the project manager actually does is plan, coordinate, and control all aspects of the project and ensure that the new system for Fusion Bank is delivered on time within the budget. Remember that generic project management and control? It's basically the same thing. You can put it here. All right. This includes managing the project team, monitoring progress, handling risk, communication. All right. And you can use the same one for the project management and control, but enhance it to suit stakeholders. Okay. So Serene Pollard. Serene Pollard, who is senior software engineer. All right. What is Serene's job? Responsibility? And we go to our Gantt chart. So she's responsible for configuring network protocol. What is she responsible for? And basically we have it at the top here, what the responsibilities are. We can use this guy here. Let's just copy all of this and take it down. All right, so we just copy it. All right, so we're going to just move this over here. Make it easier. And we take this out of here. So all we did was to just copy it from the responsibilities. and just paste it over. And that's what we get. So that would make it quicker, just copy from the responsibilities, paste it over, and that's what we would get. All right, our everything is there for the stakeholders because everybody on the work-based structure is a stakeholder. Is a stakeholder. So is a stakeholder. So that's how we do that section, and we just copy over project management structure over here. And then let's look at communication plan. All right. This one is in the BTEC student book, which should be, if you look at the communication, if you look at the communication plan in the book, it gives you a general idea on how often you communicate. And when we were doing it as an exercise in class, right, we suggested how often we can communicate with certain individuals. For example, you will want to ensure that the project is running well. So uh, you can communicate with your staff whenever it's necessary, or every morning at stand-ups, face to face. That's how you would communicate with your staff, and you have to let them know what's going on. Let them point out where's the progress, where are the issues when you're communicating with staff. So, for example, you would communicate with your client or your sponsor or your managing director, right? So I usually like doing this from myself, which would be Michael Webb, project manager, to Emily Jackson, which would be the managing director, right? So I'm going to communicate to Emily Jackson, let's say every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. And my type of communication would be email, video call, reports, because you have to report to her on the progress of a project. So you have to have reports ready. Uh, phone calls. And you have to think this person is running a business also, right? So you can just do have a meeting with her whenever you want. Yeah. Or you could say bi-weekly or as bi-weekly or as necessary. All right, email, video calls, report, phone calls. Right? Purpose to update on the progress of the project. To update on the progress of the project. All right. Basically, that's what you would want to be communicating with uh your client with. Okay. Uh so who else do we need to communicate with? We have senior software engineer. So Serene Pollard. So we're going to let me just do this. So I need to communicate with Serene Pollard. She's a senior software engineer. Senior software engineer. You don't have to do it this way. I just like doing it in a format where I'm saying who I'm communicating with. Yes. All right. And there's a reason why I'm doing it like this for now. When it comes to these guys, remember, they can communicate with the senior software engineer, and then the senior software engineer communicates with you. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So with Serene, uh, I could do her weekly, or as necessary. Face to face messages, messages, bulletin boards. All right. So I can communicate with him weekly or as necessarily face to face with bulletin boards. All right. Uh, Morning huddles. And a huddle is when uh you in the morning you come around and we talk about different issues. All right. So discuss progress. and issues. Progress issues and how to overcome issues. And how to overcome issues. Those progress issues and how to overcome issues. All right. So that's Serene Pollard, and the other one is Peter Snowden, and it's basically the same. Basically the same with Peter. So we're going to just copy this. All right. All right. What about the other guys? All right. So it's going to be, then it won't be the PM. Junior network, junior software engineer, junior software engineer. Sorry, senior. So we're going to communicate with from senior, which would be Serene Pollard. Sorry. So that's a senior network engineer. And then we have junior network engineer, which would be Anbel. Anbel to Peter. That, and it would be daily. And it would be face to face. All right. To discuss. All right. Oh, it would be Ashley. Sorry, not Anne, but Ashley. So sorry, it's not Anne, it's Ashley. All right, and also Nisha. Mystery. So these two would communicate daily with their supervisors or their seniors. And then junior software engineer, that's where Anbel comes in. So now from Anbel, and notice what I'm doing. I'm letting these guys communicate with their direct senior. All right. So Anbel, which is a junior software engineer, would communicate with Serene Pollard. All right. And this also is daily. And it's also face to face. And it's also to discuss progress issues and how to overcome the issues. All right. And then the last one we're going to do is your cybersecurity. And it's basically the same thing. So this would be just copy this same thing. And we have our communication plan. And guys, that would be the end of it. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is just think, go into the exam with a plan, and you should be all right. All right. Okay. Uh, let's look back at here. We did our milestones, but we did not. Did we do regression? We did not do a regression testing. So let's put our regression on this. So let's look at what the regression is about now. It is expected Okay, 2 days to rectify a major fault and 1 day to rectify a minor. All right, let's just do a quick calculation here. So that's times 4. Four is 12, 12 times 3. So 8 plus 4 is 12. And it says for each regression, each fault, it needs 3 days. So we multiply by 3, which is going to be equal to 36 days for regression testing. So we need to put our regression testing down here, somewhere off here. Below the hardware and software. So we're going to put regression testing there. All right, and our regression testing is going to be 36 days. This is going to be interesting now because it's going to push this all the way out. All right, let's just throw everybody who can do testing at the regression testing. Let me expand this. Let's just see who can do regression, who can do testing, software testing, stress testing. So all the juniors, Serene and Ann, can do regression testing. So all the juniors and the senior. Can our senior do Peter Snowden? Does hardware. So everybody can do it. So we're going to just throw everybody at it because it's the last thing that we have. So we're going to assign everybody. Assign, 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 assign. All right. So we've assigned everybody and it should be out here. It should be the last thing that we're doing. All right. And then the screening should be at the end of regression. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off this 21 here. On the training and put 22 instead. And there we have it. Now remember, our monitor should be the same as our timeline. So we're going to put that at the 13th. All right. Therefore, what's going to happen? All our the prices and the completion date, we have to update our PID on the completion date. So we're going to update our PID on the completion date, which is now 13th of the 3rd. And it's just because we did not do our regression. All right. And then we have to look back at our, we have to look back at our our view of the how much it cost us. So we go to report, and we're going to look at the cost now. It's 309, so we are over budget. So now we're at 309. So we're over budget, and this can be explained in our progress report that due to the regression testing that we had to do, it took us over budget. So we can do that when we go to paper B and explain it, right? So we can do that when we go to paper B and explain the regression, reason why we went over budget. Now, we've had this. So what are we going to do next? Let's go back to our set task brief, and we're going to save it. The first thing we do when we go in the exam, we save our PID in this format. So we're going to do File, Save As. No, for when we're doing, remember it's a PDF that we're going to save it as. So we have to print it in the PDF format. All right, we're not going to print it here, but we're going to do PDF, Microsoft PDF ready. All right, and then when we hit print, this is going to come up. It's going to tell us PDF. And what you need to do is you need to copy this first piece here. Activity PID 1, Control C. Right? And then your register number, whatever it's going to be. Let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to save it as, and then an underscore surname. Mine would be Web. Underscore, and my first name is M. All right, and that's how I save it. And I'm going to keep that. And I'm going to save it in my, not in my download, but wherever they tell you you need to save it. All right, I'm going to do it in my 2025 folder. And I'm going to save it right there. All right, that's the first thing you're going to do. The next one you're going to save is, let me push this on the other side, is you need to save your cost. The cost of the project, you need to save it. All right, and this would be the costing, because it gives the cost of everything on the project. All right, so what you do, you go to the printer here. Should come up in a moment, yes. Not the smart printer, but you're going to go to Microsoft PDF again. Then you're going to do OK. And this is your cost, activity 2C. So, right, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be my registration number. And surname would be Web again. Underscore M, right? And that's my cost. Now, you need resource list. And all you have to do is click on your resource, click on the resource button, and look at that. That's your resource list. And how do we print it? Let's get rid of some of the noise here. We're going to get rid of RBS, hide that column, hide the email column, material label, hide that column. We don't need initials, hide that. We don't need group, hide that. Tighten it up. We don't need overrate, so we hide that. We don't need the base calendar, so we can hide that. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go to File, PDF, and this is our resource list. All right, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to copy this resource, activity 2, resource, and we paste it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depends on the number that they give to you. And web is the surname, underscore M. Right, and you need to do this, so you need to save it as that. Good. So we've saved the resource, we've saved the cost. Now we need to save the Gantt chart. All right, so we're going to go back to task, Gantt, chart. Okay, so we need predecessors, we need duration. All right, so we have the Gantt chart. If I zoom out, what will happen? All right, so now I'm going to print it. So I go to File, PDF, and I am going to use my the same format here. And then I'm going to do Control V and then I'm going to do the underscore. And then it's web. And then underscore M. And I'm going to save it in my this PC. Desktop BTEC. All right, so I've saved it in that. So I've saved the Gantt chart now in that, and then this will be ready for paper B when you've completed it. And without further ado, it is where I've finished this PID. Hope you guys have gained some knowledge on this. All right, and I'll see you on paper B. Thank you.